Hi everyone, hello, welcome. So today we are going to do again a 1-hour session, and it's going to be, well, quite chill. We're going to start with a long warm-up and then do a little flow and then a longer warm down as well, unwinding with a lot of hip openers. You might need 2 blocks and a strap. Remember that you can always, instead of having blocks, you can use just big books, dictionaries, or instead of a strap, a yoga strap, you can just use a shawl or maybe a scarf. Sometimes it's quite nice to have a cushion with you as well, in case you need something soft under the knees or under the head. This is, if you're a totally beginner, absolutely new to yoga, then probably this is not the practice you would like to start with. Because this is for people who have some experience in yoga. Otherwise, make sure that you have a lot of space around you, and either a yoga mat, or you can also practice on a rug or on the carpet, but make sure that your knees are comfortable when you're kneeling down. And then we will be starting in child's pose. So sitting back onto your heels, and then having the knees either together or wide apart. See what feels all right. And then extend the arms to the top of the mat and release the head onto the floor. And just take some time here to make sure that you're comfortable. If you need to change something, maybe opening the knees wider, maybe bringing the feet a little bit wider, or if your shoulders are bothering you, you can take the hands wider as well. And then instead of just totally releasing into the pose, move the fingers towards the top of the mat so your elbows and wrists lift away from the floor. Keep your fingers reaching to the top while your hips are releasing towards the heels to get a nice little stretch around the shoulders and the chest. And then close the eyes and start to breathe. Just in your normal breath. So if you like to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, just letting go of any stale air, stuck energy. Maybe if you're doing this live with me, then maybe you just woken up, so maybe you're just letting go of the last night's sleep, gently waking up with the inhale. And then on the next exhalation, seal the lips and start to breathe through the nose. Nice deep inhales into the belly, into the hips, and then full exhale, so you feel the belly button squeezing towards the spine. If you are working with your Ujjayi breath, you can amp it up now and activate the back of the throat. Start to notice that deep husky sound on the breath as the air brushes against the throat. And we keep the left arm extending to the top of the mat, and then we reach the right arm underneath the left armpits towards the left side of the mat. And then just relax the head down. If your head is not comfortable on the floor, you can place a block underneath it. The left arm reaching towards the top of the mat, right arm reaching towards the left. There is a slight twist here, but mainly we are focusing on the shoulders, actually. The right shoulder stretching out. You might feel a stretch around the shoulder blade. And the left arm reaching forward, that gets a little stretch as well, a little stimulation. Hips are still heavy, you can close the eyes. And on each exhale, you allow the body to just sink into the floor. And then from here, reach the right arm back to the top. And then bring your left arm, thread it underneath the right armpit. And then start to reach the arms away from one another, from you. Head again, relaxing either on the floor or on a block, maybe on your cushion. Just staying here and noticing where you feel the pose working for you. Notice the breath. Staying very much present to what's happening in the present moment. You don't allow the mind to wander too far. Keep it on the mat. Then bring both arms back to the front. And then for a side stretch, walk the fingers towards the left side. You can move the head slightly as well. Maybe placing the right hand on top of the left. So working on the right side, start to breathe into the right side. You can exaggerate like that, the posture a little bit more. And then walk both hands to the left side. Placing the left hand on top of the right. Only if it's something that you like to do, it's not a must. And then feel into the left side of the body. Breathe into it. Walk the hands back to center. And then walk the hands underneath your shoulders and slowly sit yourself up onto your heels. If this is uncomfortable because of your size, what you could do is you could place a pillow, like I'm going to do that with this cushion, underneath your bum onto the heels and the calves, and it gives you a little bit of height and relaxes the thigh muscles a little bit more. If you're working with tight ankles, you can use a folded up mat underneath the ankle, so that make sure that your ankles are not stretched too much. So sitting like this, we take eagle arms, bring the arms towards the ceiling, and then with the right arm underneath the left, bring the hands together, either palms together, you take hold of the opposite thumb, or taking hold of the wrist, wherever you can. Relax the shoulders down and bring the elbows in line with your shoulders. Make sure the hands are stacking over the elbows. Take a big breath in, and then on the exhale, send the elbows away from the chest. You're not following the elbows with your chin. You keep the chin slightly tucked in. So it's only the upper arms and the elbows that move away from the shoulder girdles. This will really awaken your upper back. And then you can stay here, or you can release the head towards the right shoulder. So keeping the elbows high, hands stacking over the elbows, upper arms extending to the front. And if you choose to, you can also release the head towards the right shoulder. Take another breath here. And then slowly bring the head back to center, a little bit of moving. On the next inhalation, you're going to lift your elbows, look up, slight arch, squeeze the belly in. And then on the exhale, hug the elbows towards the belly button and round the back, chin to the chest. And then repeat. Inhale, lift your elbows, look up, arch. And then exhale, hug in, chin to the chest. 2 more. In breath, lifting high, looking up, arching. And then exhale and round. Last one. Inhalation, lift, look up, arch. And then exhale and hug in. Then sit up, release. We come into tabletop for a little shoulder shrug. So working with the scapula, the shoulder blades now. Spread the fingers wide. Make sure that the wrists and shoulders are aligned. Knees and hips are also aligned with one another. When you're inhaling, you're going to drop the chest down, allowing the shoulder blades to squeeze into one another. And then when you're exhaling, you're going to lift the shoulder blades and spread them wide apart from one another, sucking the belly in. So inhale, dropping the chest, scapula, shoulder blades towards one another, squeeze them. And then on the exhalation, lifting out of the shoulder blades, spread them wide apart, stretching the space in between them. A few more. Nice and slowly. I mean, the space around the shoulder blades, that's a space that we really should be using because there is a lot of power, strength, but we don't really have access, especially like with body awareness. We are not aware, we can't feel that part of the body. So slow this movement down and really feel the shoulder blades moving. One more here. And then we're going to sit back onto the heels. We take eagle arms on the other side. So arms towards the ceiling. And then this time bring the left elbow underneath the right. Taking hold of the opposite hand, thumb or elbow. Oh, sorry, elbow, wrist. Relax the shoulders down. Keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Hands stacking over the elbows. Take a big breath in. And then on the exhale, send your elbows towards the top of the mat. So keep that extension through the elbows, and you can stay here with your head right above the spine, or you can release the head towards the left shoulder. And this can be tricky because your arms are working hard. So there is a lot of action. But at the same time, if your head is relaxed, then you also have to relax at the same time. So this can take a while to get used to that. Even though the arms are working, I can still release the head. And bring the head back to center. And then we're going to move again. On the next inhale, lift the elbows, look up, arch just slightly. And then exhale, hug the elbows into the belly button, round the back. And then again, inhale, lift, arch, look up. And then exhale, hug it in. 2 more. In breath. And out breath. Last one. Inhale. And then exhale. And then release. You can move the shoulders a little bit, shake it out. Make sure that you're not hunching. Make sure that the chest is nice and open so you can breathe in. And we come back into a tabletop. And now we're going to do cat and cow. But if you would like to and incorporate also shoulder shrugs into the cat and cow, you're absolutely welcome to do so. I will be just doing traditional cat and cow. So when we inhale, we're going to arch the spine, draw the shoulders back, pop the chest to the front, look up. And then on the exhale, squeeze the belly in, squeeze the ribs in, round the back, tap the tailbone under. And then repeat. Inhale to arch, looking up. And then exhale to round, chin to the chest, tailbone looking down. A few more. In breath. Out breath. Inhalation. Exhalation. Inhale. And then exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. And now slowly sit back. A very little flow with quite a few back bends, but very gentle back bends. Take it easy. We will be kneeling down. So if you have tweaky knees like myself, as you can see, I doubled up with a mat and I'm also on a rug. But you could just place a cushion underneath or an extra mat, maybe a towel. Make sure that you're comfortable. So we're going to start in a kneeling position. We take an inhale, raise the arms to the sky, reach high through the fingertips, and then on the exhale, bring the hands behind you, place the hands onto the sacrum area, just the bottom of the spine. Roll the shoulders back, elbows together, squeeze the belly, lift the chest, a little camel pose, not too much, don't push yourself. And then on the exhalation, we move into a tabletop. Take a breath in, drive the shoulders a little bit more forward, and then exhale, slowly lower down, squeeze the belly, squeeze the glutes. Take the hands onto the edges of the mat. Press down through the pubic bone and through the feet. And on the next inhale, take into the nice, easy cobra. Elbows bent and pointing backward. Shoulders down, puff the chest to the front. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the lower back. And then exhale to release. Hands underneath the shoulders and push back into child's pose. A child's pose will feel very, very nice after the back bends. Allow your hips to melt towards the heels, relax the arms, the head. Notice what's happening in the lower back, in the sacrum area. And then slowly sit yourself up. We do the same flow 2 more times. When you're ready. Kneeling. Take an inhale, arms to the sky, squeeze the belly, reach high. On the exhale, hands onto the sacrum, camel pose. Elbows together, lift the chest, inhale, arch back. And then exhale into tabletop. Inhale, drive the shoulders more forward, activate the trunk, and then exhale, lower down to the floor. Hands onto the edges of the mat, press down. Inhale for an easy cobra, shoulders down, puff the chest. And then switch off the glutes, switch on the glutes. Exhale to release. And then we push back into child's pose to rest. And then the last round. Kneeling. Inhale, arms to the sky, look up, lengthen. Exhale, hands behind you, touching the sacrum. Inhale for your easy camel. And then exhale into your tabletop. Drive the shoulders forward. On the exhale, lower down. Bring the hands onto the edges of the mat. Tuck the tailbone, press down. Inhale for cobra. Exhale to release. Child's pose. You can just move around a little bit, sway the hips, sway the chest as well. Maybe rolling the forehead, massaging it, massaging the temples, the eyebrows. And slowly make your way back into tabletop. I'm going to work on the legs a little bit. Step your right foot between the hands. And you can be on the fingertips, or you can use the blocks on each side, one, just to give you a little bit of height. And then instead of having the hips pushing back, you're going to allow the hips to roll forward. So you're going to feel a deep stretch at the hip flexor, front of the left thigh. And perhaps you feel it also on the right side. You roll the shoulders back and open the chest to the front for an inhale. On the exhale, you drive the hips back into a half split pose, allowing the chest to fall over the thigh. The knee doesn't need to be absolutely straight. And then we come back into a lunge pose. Drive the knee forward, hips smile down, roll the shoulders back, open heart. And then exhale, sinking back. A couple of more of these. Inhale to the front, shoulders back, open heart. And then exhale, sitting back. In breath, come forward, working with the breath, so you don't need to move with me. Pay attention to your own breath. And then we take one more. Exhale, back, and we hold it here. So rolling the right hip back, the left forward. You want to have both hips to face towards the top of the mat, flexing the front foot with your toes curling towards the shin and the chest releasing towards the thigh. Relax the shoulders, the head. Feel into the back of that right leg, hamstring. You might feel it in the calf muscle as well. And then lift up. Just remove the blocks. And then we're going to turn to our left. So in the same position for a modified side plank. You're going to pivot the left foot out behind you. The right toes are on the floor now. And you're facing towards the left side of the mat. And I'm facing you. Bring the arms into a T shape. Fingers reaching away from you. Make sure that your shoulders are released away from your ears. And the crown of the head is aiming up. Take a big breath in, and then on the exhale, lean towards the right leg. Place your hand onto the thigh or the calf muscle. Make sure that you're not collapsing too much. And if you are collapsing, it's not into the knee joint with your hand. Then reach the left arm to the sky. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, lean towards the left with your right arm. Maybe looking under the armpit, just to make sure that the shoulders are stacking and your chest is open. And then reach a little bit more. What you're going to feel is all around the left side. You really squeeze the right thigh up towards the hip bone and press down through the outer edge of that right foot into the floor. Your head can relax. You can look down or you can look up if you like. Reach a little bit more for another breath. And then slowly come back up. We work on the right side now. Place your left hand onto the floor. You can use a block again underneath. Make sure the knee is comfortable. The left foot is comfortable. Reach the right arm up. Keep that right leg active. And then reach the right arm towards the left. Again, look under the armpit. Make sure it's stacking over the left. And then reach the fingers away from you. This time working on the right side of the body. Pressing down to the outer edge of that right foot. The right leg is really switched on. And you're reaching the right fingers away from you. Take another breath. Reach. And then place the hands to the floor. Right knee to the ground, facing now the back of the mat. You can move around a little bit, moving the trunk, moving the shoulders and the hips. And make your way into child's pose. Sit back onto your heels, arms reaching forward. I'm just quickly going to check the time so we don't run over. Make the head very heavy. Shoulders, arms very heavy, relax. And then coming back into tabletop. We do the same on the left side. So stepping the left foot between the hands. Remember, you can always use a block under each hand. And then release the hips forward. Nice open chest. Hips releasing forward. I just hold it here for a moment. So if you might find that this is just too overwhelming, you can, if it's too much, I mean by overwhelming, and in that case, you just back off a little bit. So you just move the hips slightly back. But you do want to feel something. It doesn't need to be too much, but it shouldn't be too little either. Something in between. Shoulders back, and we start to move. Inhale deeply. And then on the exhale, move the hips back, half splits, release the chest to the side, flex the foot. And then again, inhale to the front, shoulders back, chest nice open. Exhale, bum back, releasing to the side. And then again, inhale forward. Exhale, reaching back. Inhale to the top, nice open heart. Exhale, sitting back. Let's do one more. Inhale to the front. And then exhale, sitting back, and we hold it here. Don't forget to flex the foot. So push the ball of the foot away. Draw the toes towards the shin and relax the head. Hips facing towards the top of the mat. And then slowly come back to the front. And we're going to turn towards our right now. So you're going to pivot the right foot out, straightening the left knee. Set yourself up for your side plank, a modified side plank. So left foot is pressing down. And my toes are facing away from me because this is how it's comfortable for my ankle. But you might want to turn the toes more in or more away from you. So notice what your ankle mobility allows you to do. But make sure that the foot is pressing down so it stabilizes you in this pose. Activating the thighs, really switching on the side, hugging it up towards the hip. The knee on the floor is comfortable. Pad it up if needed. And then come into your T shape. We take the stretch for the right side. Palms facing down, fingers reaching away from you. Take a big breath in. And then on the exhalation, we're going to lean to the left hand on the left thigh or the calf. Reach the right arm high. I can already feel the stretch around my ribs. Looking up, lifting a little bit more. And then reaching the arm towards the left. You can work with your elbow bent, but I just prefer it straight. I can get a little bit deeper into the muscles. And you want to bring the arm as close to the ear as you can. And if you can lower a little bit more, then you lower the arm a little bit more as well. Breathe. Maybe looking under that right armpit to keep the shoulders stacking, no hunching. Head can be heavy. You can look down or up. One more breath. And then slowly come up. Placing the right hand onto the floor, maybe on a block. Keeping the left leg active. Reach the left arm to the sky. Inhale. And then exhale. Sweep it towards the right side. Pressing down to the outer edge of that left foot. Reaching the left fingers away from you. Breathe. One more. And then release, hands to the floor, step back into tabletop. Feel a little bit of movement, barrel rolling the chest, moving the shoulders, moving the hips. And then staying in your tabletop, spread the fingers, press down to the knuckles, and your fingertips curl the toes, and we move into downward facing dog. And I really mean moving into it, so don't just arrive straight away. Give yourself a little time to walk it out. You just get used to being upside down. Allow your arms to get used to holding most of the weight of your body. Maybe working the heels closer and closer to the floor, swaying the hips as well. And then shake out the head, yes and no. Move the jaw from side to side, open the mouth wide. Ah. Frown and defrown. And then coming into a stationary dog. So quick look at your hands, spread the fingers, press down. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling, suck the belly, suck the ribs, and then open up the chest. or draw the chest and the armpits towards the thighs. The heels are trying to reach to the floor, but even if they don't reach the floor, there is this intention to move down. And then from here, soften the knees, move the hands to the back of the mat, arriving in a forward bend. And bring the arms behind you, interlace the fingers. Here, a strap between the hands can be useful, just to create more space between the hands. And that will make this posture more accessible to you. Reach the arms up towards the sky and then reach them towards the top of the mat with your head still heavy, knees soft. Your thighs are supporting your chest. You can move again a little bit, sway. And release the arms. And very slowly roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Oh, and then we arrive. It's very humid here. There was a big storm last night. And the air just stopped. It's like there's no wind, nothing. It's quite hot as well. So all the doors are open in the house, but still there's no breeze or anything coming in. So we're going to do a little bit of sun salutation, but before we start, we are just going to practice the different sequences and segments of the sun salutation. So standing at the back of your mat with your shoulders nicely drawn back, lifting the chest, belly squeezing in, light engagement around the thighs. On the next inhale, raise the arms to the sky, look up, lift to the fingertips, and then exhale, soften the knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Your hands can come against the shins or the thighs, long straight spine. Exhale to fold. And then inhale to rise, reach up. Hands into prayer. One more the same. Inhale, arms to the sky. Look up, lengthen. And then exhale, fold forward. Soften the knees while you're bowing down. Inhale for your halfway lift, lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale and fold. And this time we're going to walk the hands into a high plank. The shoulders over the wrists, suck the belly in, tuck the tailbone under, really active thighs. Take a big breath in. Exhale, drop the knees, drive the shoulders forward. And then slowly lower down to the ground, chest and hips arrive at the same time. Move these blocks. Hands wide or underneath your shoulders, depending on how you feel in your lower back. Press down through the pubic bone. Inhale for your cobra pose. Release. And then we push back into child's pose. Staying here for a breath. Downward facing dog. On the next inhale, coming into high plank again. Make sure shoulders over the wrist. You're squeezing the glutes, lifting through the shoulders, through the shoulder blades. Drop the knees, move the shoulders slightly forward. Bend the elbows, keep them close to the waist. Lower down. Inhale for your cobra. If you're ready, you can come into upward facing dog. Child's pose. Downward facing dog. You can soften the knees, squeeze the lower ribs towards the spine, and then draw the chest, armpits towards the thighs. Then look to the top of the mat and walk the feet to the hands. Inhale for your halfway lift, lengthening. Exhale and release. Inhale and rise, looking up, lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, hands into prayer. So we arrived at the top of the mat, and we will be doing 2 sun salutations, and afterwards, a couple of standing poses included in the sun salutations then, and then we are going to slowly slow down. In the sun salutations and in that flowy sequence, we are going to do a couple of back bends as well. At any point you need to take a rest, obviously, child's pose or just lie on your back, on your tummy, whatever feels comfortable. Reactivating the thighs. Extending to the sky, to the crown of the head, shoulders release back, chest lifts slightly. Then on the next inhale, raise the arms up, look up, maybe a little back bend if you like that. And then exhale, fold forward, soft knees. Inhale for your halfway lift. Press the hands down, walk yourself into a high plank pose. Hold it for a second just to make sure you're all switched on. Drop the knees, shoulders forward, lower down slowly. Inhale for cobra pose. Downward facing dog or child's pose if you like to take a break. And we hold it in child's pose. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Again, pressing down through the hands, lifting through the tailbone. Maybe you keep the eyes closed, maybe they are open, but setting the gaze somewhere in between the legs, the feet. Take another breath in. Then look to the front, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Fall down. Inhale and rise, look up, lengthen. Hands into prayer. One more the same, a little bit faster. Inhale, arms to the sky, look up, arch back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step the right foot back. Left foot back, high plank. Take a big breath in, squeeze the whole of the body. Exhale, knees down, shoulders forward, lower down. Inhale for your cobra pose. Downward facing dog. And we breathe here. Take a big breath in and a full breath out. Inhale deeply and then exhale fully. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. And then exhale. Last one, breath in. And a breath out. Inhale. Look to the front. Walk the feet between the hands. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fall down. Inhale and rise. Hands into prayer. And then the little flow. But before that, I will have to check the time again. I'm really sorry, but I left my watch somewhere. So inhale, arms to the sky, look up, lengthen, arch back. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step the feet back into high plank. Hold it here, breath in. Exhale, knees to the floor, lower down. Inhale, cobra pose. Downward facing dog. Reach your right leg to the sky. And then step the foot between the hands. Coming into a lunge pose, you can always drop the back knee to the floor if you like. Keep your left hand on the ground. Take the right arm to the sky and twist. Twisting as much as you can, reaching the fingers high and behind you to open up the right side of the chest and allow that right shoulder blade to sink down towards the left, look up. And then we swap. Right hand to the inside of the right foot, left heel down. And then take the left arm to the sky. So it's a modified side angle lunge. You can do the usual traditional variation with your forearm on the thigh, or maybe using a block underneath the hand. Make sure that the front knee is over the ankle. The 2 feet are aligned and the back leg is active. Reach high. Maybe a cheeky half bind. One more breath. And then place both hands to the floor and lift the back heel away from the ground. Walk the right foot a little bit out. Again, you can drop the back knee down. So we are back in a lunge pose. We're going to place the left forearm onto the ground or maybe on a block and take hold of the right ankle. Then reach your left arm towards the ceiling. Remember, you can drop the knee to the floor if you like. Otherwise, keep the knee high. Keep it really supported with the muscles around it. Active. Twist a little bit more. One more breath. And now place both hands to the ground and step back into high plank. So this is strong, and you want to feel it not just in your arms, you want to feel it in your legs and your core supporting you. Take a big breath in, and then drop the knees, lower down to the ground. Whew. Nice and hot. You're just going to place the hands onto the floor and release the forehead down as well. You can shake it out a little bit, shake out the legs, move the shoulders. So little back bends here now. We're going to work with the arms and the legs. And then when we do the other side, in the standing poses, then we're going to come on the belly as well, and we're going to do some more back bends. The forehead comes down to the floor. Your arms are in a T shape with palms facing down. To stabilize you here, we want to activate the glutes and turn the tailbone down towards the heels. So the pubic bone presses down to the floor. Activate the legs as well. Then on the next inhale, lift your arms high. And we're just going to move them up and down. So up, up, a couple of times. Really squeezing the shoulder blades together, squeezing that space, squeezing those muscles like you're giving them a little massage. Your elbows straight, stay straight, and you're lifting after 1, 2, 3 more. 3, 2, 1, and we hold it here. Roll the shoulders down, lift through the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then release. Whew. Move the shoulders, move the shoulder blade, shake it out, and then place the hands back underneath the forehead. And now come the legs. Bring them back hip width apart. I like to have them quite wide because I'm quite restricted in my lower back sacrum area. So the wider they are, the more space I find in the lower back. Press the pubic bone down, activate the legs. Keep the top of the left foot on the floor and lift the right leg up. For 5, 4, really active glutes, really active core. 3, 2, 1, and release. Give yourself a little rest. And then the other side. So reactivating, switching on glutes, pressing the pubic bone down. Feel your core switched on as well, and the thighs are active. Top of the right foot stays on the floor, and we lift the left leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And just shake it out. So we have one more to do. We're going to do both legs now. And I'm sure you can feel your butt just as much as I do. Press down through the pubic bones. Try to keep the shoulders and the back of the neck inactive. Nice and passive. Squeeze the thighs, tops of the feet on the floor for now. And then we lift both legs. For 10, 9, 8, squeeze those legs. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And the hands underneath the shoulders, child's pose. Make your way back into tabletop, and then downward facing dog. So standing poses on the left side, bring the feet together, reach your left leg high, and then step it to the front. Starting in a lunge, but you can choose to come into low lunge as well. Keep your right hand on the floor or on a block, and reach the left arm to the sky for your twist. So twisting as much as you can. Open up the heart to the left side. Reach the arm behind you. Squeeze the upper shoulder to the lower shoulder. Look up, twist. And then we swap arms. Left hand comes to the inside of the foot. Drop the right heel down. Straight right knee. You can come into your traditional side angle lunge, or you can place your hand onto a block. Knee stays right over the ankle. Lift the right arm to the sky. And we breathe. It's not just the lower arm, And not just the core holding you high, but it's your thighs as well, really active. And then maybe a cheeky half bind. Reach your hand towards the thigh. One more breath. Release the hands. Pick up the back here, back into your plank, lunge. You can drop the knee to the floor, hands to the inside of the foot. Now you might choose to stay here because it might be already enough for you and for your thighs and hips. Otherwise, drop the right forearm to the ground and bring the right hand around the left ankle. If you want to elevate that elbow, you can do that with a block. And then reach your left arm to the sky. To just lower it, level it down a little bit, back knee to the ground. Otherwise, back knee straight, push the heel away, squeeze the thigh, and twist. Both hands to the floor. Step back into high plank or tabletop. Squeeze the glutes. No collapsing, lifting through the shoulder blades. And then slowly drop the knees, lower down to the ground. A little rest before we do our back bends. And I just quickly check the time again. All is going according to plan, so we're gonna have a nice rest after this with hip openers. Also, some people wouldn't call hip openers resting poses. After a breath or two, forehead to the floor, arms out wide into a T shape, press down through the pubic bone. Find your core. You know what some people, I say, core is not just your abdominal muscles. My core is definitely my lower back, my thighs and my glutes, that whole powerhouse in the center of my body, helping me stabilize postures. So activate, switch on. And then first we lift the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Then we lift the head, lift the chest, and then we lift the legs. For 10, 9, active fingers, active toes, 8, 7, lots of breath, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, and release. Whew. Forehead to the ground, bend the knees, windscreen wipe. And one more. Forehead down, arms in T shape. Now remember, you can always change the arm variation. If this is too much, you don't like it, change it. Simple as that. If you want to make it, well, not more difficult. For me, it would be difficult. For some of you, it will be very, very simple to bring the feet together. See how that works for you. So, switching on the body, pubic bone pressing down, lift your arms, shoulders not in the ears, they draw down towards the hips, squeeze the shoulder blade, lift the head and the chest, really active corner, and then lift the legs for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, and release. Whew. Bend the knees, windscreen wipe again. Maybe roll the head from side to side as well. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale for your cobra. Hold it here for a second. Maybe move the chest from side to side. Twisting, looking over one shoulder and then the other. And then slowly coming back into child's pose. For this variation, bring the knees together. Sit back onto your heels. With the knees together, you can round the back a little bit more and relax the head. And then come up, come sit on your bum. Standing leg to the top of the mat. I'm just going to come like this so you can see me better. And then make sure that your blocks and the strap is close to you, because you might need the strap depending on the flexibility of the neck of your leg. Sitting upright and tall, we're going to bend the right knee and you drop the right knee to the floor. If your knee is just, hovering off the mat, just floating there in the space, you can place a block underneath the thigh for support. But make sure it's comfortable. Then take an inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale to fold. Here, you can make use of the strap if you feel you need it. So you're pulling on the strap, but make sure you're not rounding too much and your shoulders are not in your ears. You're leading with your heart and not with the chin. So the tailbone is moving back while your chest is moving forward. Push down to that right knee and just let go. And this is more of an active variation, but you can also go for something very, very easy, very, very gentle, where you really just soften the knee, soften the shoulders, and just let go, not worrying about how straight your spine is, how open your chest is. Either way, you are going to get a nice stretch in the back of the body. The main thing is that you keep paying attention to what you're feeling. And then sticking with our, intention that it's not too much, it's not too little. I feel the stretch and I feel it in the right way. And it works me well, serves me well. Okay, then you come back up and then you're going to take another twist. Going to be working on the back of the body. So with your left hand, you take hold of the knee. And with your right hand, you take hold of the toes. If this is not working for you, you can use one strap around the foot with your left hand pulling away, and another strap or shawl around the knee with your right hand around it. You're going to take an inhale, and then on the exhalation, you pull on both arms, twisting the chest towards the right knee. So you're pulling on both hands, both on the knee and both on the foot, in order to get that stretch in the back muscles. You're also twisting, so make sure that your chest is trying to face towards your right side. It's a very awkward position, but once you get into it, you're going to feel that stretch, and it's quite amazing. Release, sit up, bring your right knee in and step the foot to the left side. A simple twist, bring the right hand behind you, hand around the knee or elbow around the knee. Take a big breath in, lengthen, and then exhale, start to twist. Come back to center, twist to the other side. And then let go, and we swap legs quickly. So Janushasana, seated forward bend with one knee bent. Again, if that knee is just floating about, take a block under the thigh. Take an inhale, lift your arms, and then exhale and fold. Don't forget to use the strap if needed. Don't forget to round and relax if that's what you want, or lengthen and pull the chest towards the top of the mat. Quick look at the time again. Excellent. Then sit up, remove the block. Going for the twisted bend. Right hand onto the left knee, left hand onto the foot. Again, if your arms don't reach to these limbs, then you're going to need extension. You can use straps. Pull on both, inhale, and then on the exhale, start to twist. Making sure that you're pulling on both, on the left hand with the foot and on the right arm with the knee. You're twisting as well. Notice what happens if you're pulling more towards the foot or more towards the knee. Remember, not too much, not too little. Lift the elbows so you can have a peek at me. And release. Bring the knee to the center, step it to the right. Right elbow around the knee, left hand behind you. Take an inhale, lengthen, exhale, start to twist, shoulders down. You're looking behind you, see how it feels in your neck. And then let go, twist to the other side. Just a quick turn, counter twist. And release. And we're going to lie down, look at this mess. We're going to lie down and come into Gomukha Asana, in a reclined Gomukha Asana. So usually we do Gomukha Asana in a seated variation, but I find that very, well, it's painful for my knees actually. So doing it lying down is much more gentle. You're going to bring the right knee over the left, so you're squeezing the thighs together. And you're going to hug the knees into the chest, excuse me. You can take hold of the calf muscles, the shins, and then just gently guide the two calf muscles and shins away from one another. Or you can, if you can, take hold of the outer edges of the feet. And you might find that your head wants to lift, and that's absolutely fine. Use a block maybe under the head, or you can also actually elevate the hips, and then the head just goes onto the floor. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to use this. That's much nicer. So you will be stable, not wobbling, just gently, gently guiding the two shins apart from one another. The two thighs are squeezing against one another. And I instantly get the stretch on my right hip. It's very gentle, it's very soft, but I feel it. If I would be sitting up, that would be too overwhelming. It would be putting a lot of tension and pressure on my knee as well. But you're very welcome to sit up. So if that's how you like it, that's what you're used to it, and that's the position from which you get the most in this pose, then by all means just go for it. And this is also the space where we start to unwind. If you're not a big fan of hip openers, you might find that in some areas of the body that you're not really paying attention at the moment to, you started tensing up. It might be your shoulders, it might be your neck, your throat, your jaw. Maybe you're squeezing the lips together. So worth looking around and checking the whole of the body. Not just where you obviously and instantly feel the stretch, the tension, the stress. When I say stress, I mean the positive way in the body that happens because of the pose, or maybe other areas, maybe areas with which you're fighting, that stretch. Breath here, and then release. Just place the feet onto the floor. You can windscreen wipe. And we take it in the other side. So swapping legs now. Right thigh on top. Squeeze them together. And then taking hold of the shins and just gently guiding them apart. Or outer edges of the feet. You can go from the top of the feet, from the sole of the feet, wherever it's comfortable. Notice if you still need that cushion underneath you or under your head. This is actually really comfortable. I never thought that I would find a hip opener that I would actually like. Well, hip openers don't need to be, they don't need to be so aggressive. And when you're doing it seated or you're doing it like in half pigeon, again, the knees are very much involved. And for most of us, the knees are very delicate. So always remind yourself, there is always a way to go around it and find a different way to access the pose, and it works better for you. You just need to experiment. Obviously, always in a safe way, and if you need to ask someone, a teacher, an instructor, then go for it. Again, checking for any unnecessary tension we might create because we are fighting the pose, we are fighting the discomfort. One more breath. Let it go. Just windscreen wipe again. And if you are sitting, lying on blocks, on cushions, then you can remove them. Lie down. Take one more posture just to complete the practice. You can take anything. There's always a pose that one likes to finish off with. Something, maybe you want to do a shoulder stand, maybe you want to just elevate the legs, maybe a quick fish pose. I will be doing a supine twist just because that's what I like, that's what my body right now needs. So I'm going to hump the left knee into the chest, keeping the right hand on the left knee, the left arm comes onto the floor beside me, and gently driving the knee across the body towards the floor. And we want to have the shoulders on the ground. If the knee goes too low and your shoulder lifts, then just bring the knee back a little bit. And because we are staying here, and it might not be comfortable for you to have the knee again away from the ground, you might want to place there a block underneath. So again, we are just simmering. We had that phase when we were boiling, did the back bends, did the standing poses, and there was a lot of heat, a lot of pushing and moving. But right now we are slowing down again, so no need to start boiling again. Calming down, simmering. Come back to center. And then switching legs, if you're doing what I am doing. Gently guide the knee out to the left, pull shoulders down. And the knee back to center. Hug them in. Just rock from side to side, maybe circle the knees. And then bring the legs back onto the ground, extend them to the back of the mat, nice wide. If you have space around you, just spread out like a starfish, basically. Arms beside you, arms facing up. You just press down to the back of the head, lift the shoulder blades, draw the shoulder blades down, and then release the back. Press down through the ears, lift the bum, tuck the tailbone under, and then release the hips back down to the floor. Nice long spine. Take a breath in through the nose. And then exhale, open the mouth, close the eyes. Let the body sink. And allow the mind, the thoughts to just wander around, float around a little bit, rest. give yourself a couple of minutes here. Take your time with the resting, the relaxation, and I hope you enjoy the practice. And I hope to see you here very soon. Take care.